almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. And no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's Thriller, Thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Ooh, you hear the door slam and realize there's nowhere left to run. You feel the cold hand and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes and hope that this is just imagination, girl. But all the while you hear a creature creeping up behind, and you're out of time, 'cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. There ain't no second chance against the thing with the 40 eyes, girl. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller. Night creatures calling, the dead start to walk in their masquerade. There's no escaping the jaws of the alien this time. This is the end of your life. Ooh. They're out to get you. There's demons closing in on every side. Ooh. They will possess you unless you change that number on your dial. Now is the time for you and I to cuddle close together. Yeah, all through the night, I'll save him from the terror on the screen. I'll make you see that this is Thriller, Thriller night. 'Cause I can thrill you more than any cool could ever dare try. Thriller night. So let me hold you tight and share a killer thriller. 'Cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. Girl, I can thrill you more than any cool could ever dare try. So let me hold you tight and share a killer thriller. I'm gonna thrill you tonight.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. And whomever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell. The foul stench is in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver. For no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller.
What's up, everybody? So this was a really fun thing to put together. It's Michael Jackson's Thriller, and it's completely a cappella. Woo! So just wanted to show you guys and gals, how I built it up. You saw the video, the performance video, and this was all done using one microphone, the Shure SM7B, through a cloud lifter right here, if you can see it, and into my Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 into Logic. So let's get started. I want to go through each sound and how I did some of the sound design, taking just this mouth and turning it into a various number of instruments. So we'll start off with the kick drum. And for the kick, I just went just a P with a little air behind it. And this is what it sounds like. And this is without any processing. Quite quiet. Added a little noise gate, just so that kept it just to the transients. We got the virtual mix rack from Slate Digital on the Big Rock Kick preset. Just taking it, compressing it a little bit. Some channel EQ. And then here's where it gets fun. I decided, let's just try the Chris Lord Algae drums from Waves. And this really just made everything kind of pop and sound a little more like a kick drum here. Waves L2. Waves one knob fatter. Now this thing I've never worked with before, but check out the difference. Just kind of beefs it up. Adaptive limiter for a little more gain and compression, and then another channel EQ, taking a little bit of 50 hertz out and boosting a little of 2.5K just to give it a little more snap. There's my kick sound. For snare, this was with the vocal just going a K. Again, noise gate. Some channel EQ. I really wanted to get, and I went way off the charts on this, but I just really wanted to get some of that girth to it. Virtual mix rack. Big snare. It's not compressing too much, but just giving a little bit of shimmer. And then the CLA drums on the snare Pop 2 preset. And these all got dialed in fairly quickly. Hi-hat. So there's two snare tracks. And then what I did here was I also so I have a snare right and a snare left. And the snare left hand is just for that intro for a I didn't want to do it with one track because I wanted it to emulate a right hand and a left hand hitting a snare drum. So, and then here I've got the one knob, fatter, turned pretty far up. One knob pressure. And another channel EQ. And because it was all pretty much the same for most of the song, all I did was just do a little bit of it and then loop it in the interest of time. Hi-hat, using the Virtual Mix Rack warm hi-hat preset, and the CLA drums again. And this is on the Overheads My preset. So we'll listen without anything for hi-hat. And these are all pretty just quick mixes, right? Get in, get out, get it done. Cymbals. For each of the cymbals, I just went ch, ch, ch. Try to make one a little brighter than the other to emulate two different cymbals. Oh, yep. That's a fun one. And again, this was just with the RVox. I just compressed it a bit. On the bus, RVox, RVox, RVox. Bongos. Now this was pretty fun. Deciphering the bongo pattern, I'm pretty sure I got it pretty close. But it's, bongos, you have two drums. And I didn't want to have to sing one drum and both drums at the same time. So I did one and then the other. And it's pretty fun. So here's bongo 1. And it's a loop, so I'll just loop it. Bongo 2. And I just looped that. Now this is where it gets fun. I used the Logic flex pitch here to just zero everything out. I turned the vibratos down to 0 and tuned the vocals because I wanted it to sound like a consistent drum. When you sing stuff, your voice goes up and down. It's really hard to just hit do 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 do. Like even on here, if I take the vibrato back in and put it back to where it was, it's there's a lot going on. Do do, pitch a little kind of waver here and there. So when you take it out, it gets a little more pure tony. And I did the same thing for the cowbells. And again, just noise gate, channel EQ. Boosting things I want to hear, cutting things I don't need to hear. Claps were fun. Claps I used just a tongue click going, and I layered it 6 times. So again, noise gate on the summing stack, little channel EQ, CLA drums. I used the snare, rock 1 to add a little bit of a little more attack, the 1 knob pressure. And this is just how it came in. Synth bass. This was a fun one to do. There is a lot going on here with the synth bass. So I just sang it myself. Do 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 do, and looped it. So here, let's just go back to the beginning. I'll just loop these bars here. So here's the vocals coming in just by themselves. Add a noise gate just to clean it up in the silent parts. CLA bass on the scoop preset, which adds a ton of volume. Honk. R bass to compress it down a little bit. Then I cleaned it up, little high pass, knocking out some of those mid frequencies, low mids, and the 1 knob louder because I just wanted it to sound like an aggressive bass, but still be voice. And then I added it to a sub bass on an aux. And on another aux, I put it pre-fader to a pitch shifter, just down an octave. And then I added it to a doubler. So to give a little extra character with some channel EQ and the R bass on there. And just gives this nice lower octave. And going through all of these, I get to the bridge. I didn't want to have to go through the entire tune just listening to the MP3 of the original to pull stuff out. So I ended up making some stems with it and separated it out into a vocal stem, a percussion stem, guitar stem, and an other stem using an app called Moises, M-O-I-S-E-S, which is a great app for iPhone, and I think it's good on Android as well, or whatever they're calling that these days. So it was really nice to be able to go through and just reference the original audio.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a step that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it.
So you can hear everything that's going on, and it just makes it a little easier to pick out different parts. And I got to, create the track around Michael actually singing it, which was very nice. Background vocals, we just went through, nothing too crazy here, but I quad tracked everything. So each background vocal harmony, got 4-part harmony here. And each one is tracked 4 times just to get a nice blend and layering and thickness to it.
You try to scream. You start to freeze. Thriller, thriller night.
I left the vocals pretty much dry just as they came in. And then on the summing stack, some RVox, the analog channel from Mic DSP was really nice. Without, with, and this is just a really great plugin. I love just tossing it on, setting it to auto, and seeing what it does. Again, this is a very quick mix here. And then I use the Infinity EQ from Slate Digital on the Pop Vocal Male Legendary setting. There's the original with the RVox, the analog channel, and with the Infinity EQ. Guitars, this was fun. So here I've got a channel EQ going, just to kind of carve stuff out, get a little more high end for like the guitar picking, and then ran it through the CLA guitar. Less funky. Here's how it came in. And just on a loop, because I can't hold my breath that long. Channel EQ. Brighten it up. CLA guitar. Then on the guitar bus, because there's a lot of do's and twos and stuff, I just added the wave sibilants in there. So there's just a few things that trigger it. It's not too bad, but one knob brighter. And another channel EQ. for a little bit of a band passing. We get to the end here. And then for the guitars on the choruses, use a little doubler to give it a little bit of a chorus effect. And again, just looping everything. So all together. And again, I went through the pitch, turn the vibrato all the way down to make it a little more fretty, and tuned up where I had to. There's a theremin that I did as a whistle. It's in there. And this was a similar type of a thing where I went through and I think I just whistled one tone. I just went all the way through and then edited the pitch. So I use my blade tool. You can select your secondary tool here to the scissors, and you can make any cuts you want. I left the vibrato here at 100%. It just gets pretty wild. It was so ridiculous going through all this stuff and pretending to be all these instruments. But it's very fun. Synth brass. This was... Again, the analog channel, and then just on each of these parts, I use the doublers. Let's see, Rhodes. This was a fun one. And the reason I'm toggling all of these, turning on and off all of these tracks is because there was actually too many tracks for my computer to handle. So I ended up having to bounce everything down and then mix it from the sums. All of these summing stacks, I would just export the entire thing and then mix off of that once I got the blend that I wanted. So the Rhodes, this was a very interesting thing because when you're playing a keyboard, right, you're just going to have stereo, record stereo, and you have the one hand that's playing on the keyboard. Well, you can't do multiple notes with one voice, so each of those notes I had to do with one track of audio for my voice. So for this little waterfall thing here, and I pitched it up, pitch shift and a doubler. This is what I actually sang here. Add a pitch shifter to them. Take everything up an octave, and then using the doubler from Waves. And then send it out to a reverb. There's these great horn lines in the chorus. All this stuff. I can't sing that high. So what I did was I ended up making my own horns by doing kind of out the side of my mouth with my lips slightly pursed. Right? And then the microphone. So ridiculous. Tune the schniz out of it. And a little noise gate, compressor, channel EQ. And then what I ended up doing was I took it and sent it out a bus to another pitch shifter, up an octave, and then the one knob pressure. To have a little more bitey and just right there forward, like you were exploding sound out of a trumpet, right? And then I ended up just creating a track from the aux so I could have it in the stack there going out and be able to affect and on the bridge here. Let's just go and take all these off. And then, yeah, a bunch of channel EQ, another one knob, some infinity EQ on it. Just make it sound a little bit more like a horn, right? Here's the bridge. So this is unaffected, nothing going on, except for vocal. And tuned. And it's obviously not perfect, but it would be a lot easier just to get some horns. But this is all with the mouth. So very fun stuff. And then here we go. This was, I think, one of the most inventive things that I did with this. And this is the organ. There's this really rad B3 that's all washed out that comes in at the end during the outro of the song. And I was like, how am I going to accomplish this? So what I did was, let's just bypass all of these real quick. I ended up utilizing the Waves Harmony plugin to achieve this, and it's really, really, really fun. What a cool plugin to have access to and to be able to use. So here's just what I did on its own. Top part, middle part. Use the pitch shifter on it. Take it up an octave. Get it a little less vocally. Pitch shift in the RVox. And then I sent it out to the Waves Harmony. And this was the fun thing. I ended up just trying to make it like I would with drawbars on an organ. And on an organ, you have, what is it, like octave, lower octave, higher octave, the fifth, the third, and you can blend them, all of these different overtones, to make a really nice, thick organ sound. So that's the same thing that I emulated here. The Waves Harmony, I sent it out pre-fader from the organ track to the Waves Harmony. So I did one up 2 octaves, one up 1 octave, one down 1 octave, and then down a fifth and up a fifth. So you have, each of these notes has a lot more spread to it. And then the next step was to take the Logic pedal board and use the spin box, which is a Leslie rotor emulator, to make it sound like an actual organ that you're playing with a Leslie speaker. So. And then with the analog channel to boost it up. And this channel EQ is actually not even doing anything. And send it off to a chroma verb and the Valhalla vintage verb. From the vocal. Very fun. Oh, the door slam. This was funny. So in the tune, it says you hear the door slam, and then there's this door slam, like a big castle door just being reverberantly shut. So what I ended up doing here was I just used the microphone and I hit it on the table. Not loud, not hard, but just taking it and setting it down like to do all the time. Totally fine. The mic can handle it. So I did it 3 times to get, when a door slams, you have the initial contact with the door jamb, you have the lock clicking, and then the other side of the door jamb. So it's most of the time. So I think, at least in my opinion. So I got 3 of them here. And it doesn't sound like much. But, again, a little noise gate. Adding the CLA bass on there to all of them. Gives a little thud, a little R bass for some extra low end. Some channel EQ to just clean it up a little bit. Then the one knob louder, which literally just turn things up. So we'll just do it on one. With, without, with. And then I sent it out to the Valhalla vintage verb. Send it out to a pitch shifter to take it an octave lower. And then send it out to a doubler, another channel EQ, just take like the super low lows out, and the R bass. And then on the sum itself, I just boosted all of that low back in, so it could be controlled. And then we also sent that to the Valhalla to make it just massive. Very fun. Bass falls was me just going, hitting a low note. And with the CLA bass, the R bass, a little louder, sending it to all of the others. And you get. Very fun. And then for the narrator at the end, I decided not to do the narrator at the beginning.
Darkness falls across the land.
You just have me talking very dramatically into the mic. Little compressor.
Creatures crawl in search of blood.
High pass.
To terrorize
And
your
R-Box.
neighborhood.
And then I've got it sent out to a tape delay.
The land. The midnight hour is close at hand.
Valhalla vintage
Creatures
verb.
crawl in search of blood. To
Another
terrorize
tape delay.
y'all's neighborhood.
It's a little faster.
Falls
And then
across
here's
the land.
the money channel.
Midnight
This is my
hour
evil
is
narrator
close at
channel.
hand.
And what it has
Creatures
is a couple
crawl
different
in
pitch
search
shifts
of blood
and a
to
channel
terrorize
EQ,
y'all's
and then
neighborhood.
sending that out
Darkness
to
falls across
more
the
reverbs.
land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures
So here's a
crawl
pitch
in
shifter.
search of blood to terrorize
Down a
y'all's
fifth.
neighborhood. Darkness falls across the land.
Another pitch shifter
Midnight
down one
hour
semitone.
is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize
And one
y'all's
down three
neighborhood.
semitones.
Darkness falls across the land.
So it just gives that
Midnight
really
hour is
sinister
close
quality
at
to it.
hand.
And then just
Creatures
band passing
crawl
that there.
in search of blood. Falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood.
And then sending it out to
Terrorize y'all's neighborhood.
Valhalla.
Darkness falls across the land.
And the
Midnight hour
delays as
is
well.
close at hand. Creatures.
So, very fun stuff. And then let's just take you to the mix. Now, again, this was a massive, massive session, and my laptop just does not have the computing power to be able to handle all of those plugins and all of those channels. I think it was, 109 channels or something like that. And so every time I hit the space bar, it would be system overload, system overload, system overload. So I went through and I just bounced down all of my summing stacks, made the audio, committed it. So as kick's coming through, I've got the kick as just a regular kick drum. I've got the snare as a regular snare drum. And then I had the wonderful Mr. Eric Gonzalez do some werewolf sounds. My voice was pretty tired, and he just had the perfect werewolf sound. The Werrick Wolf. Killer. So we went through here, and then I just started mixing these all down just as I would any other instruments that came in. So it's a ton of processing, just getting the human voice to sound like a kick drum, or getting it to sound like a snare, or getting it to sound like a bass. And now I just went through and
something evil's lurking in the dark.
started mixing it as if it were a bass.
Under the moonlight, you see a sight that
So here's just the bass by itself after the sound design. Let's use the L2 to bring it up a little bit, the R bass to flatten it out, and then some channel EQ just to clean it up a little bit. Then sent it out to a pitch shifter and the CLA bass. Which gave a nice lower octave. And then sending it out to a sub bass that I low passed quite a bit just to get it out of the way. So that with the kick. Snare. And for some of these things, like I ended up moving them around. I flew in some stuff that I couldn't do before. Nice and dirty. All the backgrounds. And then the use of vocal doubles just to thicken up parts of the chorus. Like, here we go.
As horror looks you right between the eyes, you're paralyzed. Cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. And no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's Thriller, Thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. And real and wonder if you'll
So some very fun stuff. So I hope that you guys have a good time mixing this. I'm going to be including all of the sounds pre-sound design so that you can get those however you want to do it. And also post-sound design with my sounds so that you can just have fun mixing it and go to town. I hope you guys have a very wonderful day. And if it's Halloween where you are, happy Halloween. And if it's not Halloween where you are, then I hope you have an amazing next Halloween. And we'll see you next time. Thanks ever so much. Hope you're doing marvelously well.